Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our Hamilton County Board of Elections. Today is August the 21st, 2023, and it's approximately 8:35. Calling the meeting to order. And I also would like to indicate the proper notice has been given as required under the Ohio Revised Code 121.22. I'd like us to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And anyone who is serving our country or has served our country, I'd like you to lead us in the pledge. And thank you for serving our country. The agenda, we're going to follow the agenda, and next on the agenda is amended provisional reports for the August 8th, 2023 special election. Mr. Linzer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our Administrator Chuck Eckert will present the amended provisional report.
Thank you. Chuck?
So in your packets, you have the summary staff recommendation revised. Just to point out, the total number of accepted was reduced by 3, and then those 3 are reflected in the rejected categories. 2 additional ballots went into, or 2 additional provisional ballots went into voted wrong precinct, wrong location, and 1 additional went into the category of no ballot.
Based on that report, I'll move that we adopt the summary staff recommendation revised provisional report dated August 21st, 2023.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next, ballot remakes. Mr. Linzer.
Yes, Madam Chair, Administrator Krista Criddle will present the remakes to the board. This is the last step before we conduct the official canvass.
Thank you, Krista.
Thank you. So we have the first category, we actually have our some Uwakava ballots. They were received on time that had to be remade, and those are A554 through A565. And as a reminder, all of these are remade by bipartisan teams.
I'll move approval of the ballots as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
The next category we have are all Election Day ballots. Majority are provisionals. Those, we have a damaged category. Those are the first category we're going to talk about. Those are P1 through P19, P21 through P271.
I'll move approval of those ballots as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
Thank you. The next category we have are ballots, we call them wrong right. They were at the right location, but they were given the wrong precinct ballot. And those are, it's P20, and then P272 through P279.
I'll move approval of those ballots as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
Thank you. Then the final ballot that we have that needed to be remade, it was a voter intent issue. It's a clear voter intent issue that was reviewed by the deputy director, myself. So bipartisan team, and that is P280.
I'll move approval of ballot P280.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Thank you,
Thank
Crystal.
you, Krista.
Madam Chair, right now our Operations Department will take those ballots that the board just approved, and they will add them to the official canvass. It'll take them about 20 minutes to complete the official canvass. So as the board works through the rest of its agenda, we should have final results for the board to certify by the end of the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next, certification of nonpartisan candidate petitions for the November the 7th, 2023 general election. Mr. Linzer.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There are 3 lists in your board packets. These are lists of candidates who have filed to run in the November 2023 general election. If we could just maybe do the easy ones first. So the first list, and by far the longest, are the candidates who Staff have reviewed their petitions and found no issues, and they have the sufficient number of signatures to run for their respective offices. So staff recommends approval and certification to the ballot for these candidates. This would be
Just-
the list marked sufficient.
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask. So I'll go ahead and make the motion then that we certify those candidates on that list. And again, it begins with City of Blue Ash in the upper left-hand corner. It says 2023 independent candidates list. I'll move that we approve all of those candidates to the November ballot.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next, there is another list titled insufficient. This has 4 candidates on it. These are 4 candidates who did not have the sufficient number of signatures to run for their respective offices or had such a significant legal defect that the board does not have discretion and cannot accept their petitions.
I'll move that we reject those 4 candidates as being legally or otherwise insufficient.
Second.
Just a comment, all of these candidates have been notified, am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
Okay. And the third list is titled Board Review. The candidates on this list have, some sort of issue with their candidate petitions. Of course, the board has some discretion in determining whether or not those candidates' petitions are substantially compliant with the law. So it probably would be wise to just go through these one by one, since each one has their own sort of independent issue, and then the board can discuss the candidates' petitions and vote on them one at a time.
So while I'm fine with that, I will tell you, I had an opportunity to review this before the meeting. I'm prepared on all of them, but I don't know what the rest of the board's pleasure is, but
I concur.
yeah. Oh, well, again, and if you guys want to go through them one by one, that's fine. I just know a couple other people. Ms. Kilgore is here. I think Ms. Wider might be here, according to my notes. So I can tell you that my motion today, and again, as I understand from legal counsel, these are substantial compliance issues. We would be within our rights to certify these candidates to the ballot. That's usually where we err on the side of giving people ballot access, I think, unless it's, clearly legally inappropriate. So at this juncture, I'm prepared to move that we certify all of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there were 8 before. Did I miss one? I'm ready to certify those 7 that are listed
7.
on that report to the November ballot as substantially compliant.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries.
So you guys are clear. Brandon Davis, Jenny Kilgore, David Bidnick, Garrick Burkhalter, Robert Vanover, Susan Wider, Susan Miller, all have been certified to the ballot.
That's correct. Any more discussion?
I think we voted.
Anyone? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Those are write-in lists too, Alex? That I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's further down on the agenda.
Got it, sorry. Okay.
And as has been stated, the next item is certification of the write-in candidates for the November the 7th, 2023 general election.
There it is.
And similarly, there's a list in your board packets of write-in candidates who the board recommends, the staff recommend certifying to the ballot.
I'll move that we certify those write-in candidates to the ballot.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. And I'm assuming these individuals have been notified as well.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next on our agenda is certification questions and issues for the November 7th, 2023 general election.
So in your board packets, you have yet another list. These are issues, tax levies, charter amendments, and other issues for voters to decide on that have been filed with us, and the board staff recommends certifying to the ballot.
I'll move that we certify the questions and issues that are on this report to the November ballot.
Second.
Question, has the language been prepared?
In almost all these cases, the language is defined by statute,
True.
but we
Okay.
do send it up to the Secretary of State for approval, and we're waiting on the Secretary of State's approval for most of these.
Okay. Thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries. I have a question. We still have a time frame where if anyone wants to put another issue on the ballot, they could do that. Am I correct?
Depending on the charter of particular municipalities, there are some that could still file issues. These are all the ones that have been received up to this meeting, just to get us moving on these.
Okay, thank you. Just hearing a lot of rumors, and I just want to get us prepared for what's maybe yet to come. Next is discussion approval November 2023 general election equipment allegation.
It's, in your board packet, you have a general equipment allocation. This is the document that outlines how much equipment we send out to the polling locations to prepare for Election Day. I will say with the upcoming November election, having two statewide, very controversial issues on the ballot, we are planning for a very heavy turnout. So we are treating this election very similar to a midterm gubernatorial election, just based on anticipated high turnout, and that's reflected in the staff recommendation.
I'll move approval of the general election equipment allocation recommendation.
Second.
Any more discussion? And we're wise to think ahead and always be prepared for the unexpected. That's my motto. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries. Next is approval of the November 2023 general election ballot and provisional envelope quantities.
Similarly, the board must approve the provisional envelope quantities and ballot quantities that we send to the polling locations. And just like with the equipment allocation, we are anticipating a high turnout, so that recommendation reflects that.
I'll move approval of the recommendation made by staff on the general election ballot and provisional envelope quantities.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries. Next, resolution on ballot printing contract, resolution 23-003. Mr. Lenzer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier this year, the board issued an invitation to bid on a contract for ballot printing. So this is the vendor that not only prints our Election Day ballots, but also prints the vote-by-mail ballots that we send out every day during the election cycle. The board received 3 responses. Board staff interviewed the references of the various vendors who bid. Board staff toured the facility of one of the vendors, and also one of the vendors was our current vendor, which is MCR. After reviewing all of the applications, it's our recommendation that the board award the contract to MCR as the lowest and best bidder.
I'll move adoption of resolution 23-003.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries. Next is discussion and approval of November 2023 ballot printing outsourcing plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Secretary of State requires that the board approve a plan to outsource the printing of absentee ballots. So, this is one of the more sophisticated operations involved in preparing for the election. This is how we print the ballots that go out by mail. So the vendor who the board just approved awarding the contract to MCR has to turn those ballots around. We request that they turn them around same day. so that we send them the applications that we receive on one day, and that those ballots are in our office by the next day, so that we can keep things moving and make sure the voters all get their ballots on time. Just as a matter of regulation, the board has to approve any plan to outsource that to a vendor. There are significant benefits to outsourcing it. Predominantly, because the vendor has the capacity to automate it, it really cuts down on the human error component as opposed to printing them in-house. And when we have a high turnout election, the volume of absentee ballots that we need to print is really just too big for what we can handle with our equipment and staff in-house. So staff recommends that the board vote to approve an outsourcing plan for the 2023 general election, and that's in your board packet.
And Alex, just to be clear, the vendor never handles any voted ballots, right? This is just printing and mailing of blank, not blank, but I guess they are blank ballots, right?
Yeah, that's correct. They never handle any voted ballots.
Yeah. I know this has worked well in the past, has it not, when we've done it? Yeah.
It's, like I said, it really cuts down
Yeah.
on the human error, because there's a machine and a computer stuffing all the envelopes and making sure that the voters get their correct ballot, and it
Got
really
it.
improves our accuracy.
Excellent. I'll move approval then of the ballot printing outsourcing plan.
I just have a question. So this company has a history of fulfilling all of those resource requirements without any problems, even when
Second.
we have a high turnout? Right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, sorry. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next on our agenda is certification of the August 8th, 2023 special election. I think that's yet to come.
So despite my best efforts to filibuster, we still are waiting on the staff, so maybe the board might want to take a brief recess and
Okay.
reconvene when the staff are finished with the count.
It's fine.
Need a motion?
Just to be safe, I'll move that we stand in recess just for, minutes or less than an hour, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it should be 10 minutes.
Fair enough, yeah.
All right,
I
second.
won't hold you to that, yeah.
All right, we are in recess. We're now going to come out of recess and continue with the discussion of the certification for the August 8th, 2023 special election.
Madam Chair, I see we have the final results here tallied
Mhm.
up from the board staff. I'll move certification of the final results of the August 8th, 2023 special election.
And I second that.
Mr. Linzer, we were hoping we would get close to 40, but we did well.
We got close.
We got close.
Certainly was a high turnout for an August election.
Yes, it was. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And that motion carries. Next on the agenda is the August 2023 post-election audit.
Yes, Madam Chair, now that the board has certified the final results of the August 8th election, there is one step remaining, and that is to conduct an audit, which we do always as a matter of course. Board staff recommends that the board conduct a risk-limiting audit on August 28th. That's next Monday, beginning at 8:30 a.m. Board members are not, your presence is not required for that, but the staff will begin conducting the audit that morning upon your approval.
I think that, I know that's all something we all look forward to doing and looking at what the outcomes are going to be. And I think, isn't there a bell that we ring or something at times?
That's for first vote, I think.
Yeah, not just first voting, but that it's done.
Well, it's certainly the last step in putting the election to rest, so it is always a moment of celebration for the staff.
Celebration, that's
where-
right.
Where we complete one election and can move on to the next.
And it's over. Okay. Do we need a motion?
I move to approve August 2023 post-election audit. August,
Sorry, the board needs to set the date and time and manner of the election, so it's a
Oh.
risk-limiting audit on August 28th at 8:30
8:30
a.m.
a.m. here.
I move that the board conduct a risk-limiting audit on August 28th, 2023.
Any more discussion?
second the motion.
And we can be, or we don't have to be present either way. Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries for the August the 28th, 8:30 a.m. risk
Limiting audit.
limiting audit. Okay. Any more discussion?
RLA.
Nothing?
Anyone?
No other business.
No other business? Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at approximately 9:06, it looks like.